What's going on, Rochelle?
This year is 25 years at the bar. I didn't vote for myself.
And he's still...
I was valedictorian. I'm like, again, people believed in me when I didn't. I was busy believing in other people.
Wow. Can you just give us a little insight into who is Rochelle Cameron?
On what day?
Any day of the week. Talk to me. Some know her as an attorney. Others know her as an MC and motivational speaker. And others know her as an entrepreneur. I have the distinct privilege and pleasure to call her both a friend and mentor. Listen, Sky Lounge fam, today we have on the Sky Lounge podcast for the first time ever, Rochelle Cameron. Let's go! What's going on, Rochelle? Come on, honestly, whatever sphere of life you know this lady from, you know that she's a force to be reckoned with. And honestly, I consider her the GOAT of all things communication. So once again, Rochelle, welcome. How are you today?
I'm great.
I'm
great. It's so nice to be here. In there, look. It's very bossy. It feels real nice to be here.
Come on, let's go. Listen, I'm happy that you're here.
Get a little wine
What
too.
you mean, man? Only the best for you, Rochelle. Only the best. And this is really a dream come true for me because, as you know, we've been talking about this off air for the longest time. So for us to be on set filming, I think I booked it from probably 6 to 8 months out and be like, please, this is an idea, this is a dream, and I'd love if you could be on it. And from day one he said yes. And I just really appreciate you so much for taking the time out to be here today. I'm grateful.
Congrats to you. You know, sometimes we think of doing something and we'll say it, we'll write it, but the magic is in the doing.
I agree.
And you are doing
We're doing it, Rosh. Let's go. Welcome one and all to episode 5 of the Sky Lounge podcast. We have today Rochelle Cameron, and we're jumping into our conversation in true Sky Lounge fashion. We are all about learning, being inspired, growing. We're lifelong learners and growers here, Rochelle. So to kick it off, you know, I know everybody knows you, but for the few that don't, can you just give us a little insight into who is Rochelle Cameron?
On what day?
Any day of the week. Talk to me.
So I am Master Cameron's one daughter, her first child, and Esme Hyatt's first granddaughter.
Wow.
So I'm a first daughter, first child, first grandchild, and those first girls know that comes with a lot of stuff. And so I get to live my dream of being a lawyer. This year is 25 years at the bar. Hooray!
That's huge. Congratulations.
But, you know, and I mentioned I'm a first girl because I've always been so very focused on being a lawyer, achieving particular goals, and then you get to a stage in life that you recognize that you are a sum of so many different parts. So I get to use my voice in my legal profession as a motivational speaker. I hope I'm actually motivating people. And I also help to use my voice as a consultant. I am a business consultant, something that I love to do, and also to help people to learn to use their voice.
Go.
People call it a multi-potentialite. I actually feel that in the Bible, the talents, that's always the parable that it has stuck with me. Multiply the talents that you have.
That's
no
cool.
matter how little bit, how big, if you're not multiplying it, you need to be multiplying. That's the blessing. And I think we are born to bless others with our talent.
Absolutely.
So if I get to do it in any little way, that's what I do.
Come on, let's go. I love that. I absolutely love that. And I just love the fact that, when it comes to multiplying the talents and that story, it's such a beautiful story because we see some got 1, some got 2, one got 3. And regardless, a talent back in the day was worth a whole heap of money. So no matter how much you get, there's something you can do with it. And we saw that God celebrated the 2 that multiplied, and he reprimanded, corrected the one that dug a hole, puts it in the ground. So I think already I'm learning from you that the truth is we all have something and we're called to multiply whatever it is that we have. So I love that. I absolutely love that. Talk to me now. I'm curious. You say you're Marcia's one daughter? I love that. Big up Marcia. Anyway, she's there. And, similar to you, I'm a first child as well. And I'm the first grandson on both sides, only grandson on one. So, I'm not a first girl, but I'm a first. You understand? I'm curious though, Marcia, one daughter. Talk to me about the journey from high school into corporate life. What has that been like? What has that looked like for you?
Okay. So I went to the great Campion College.
Yeah. Big.
Hear the crowd, them shouting.
Yeah, man. Big up every Campionite right now. Let's go. Yes.
So Campion, I loved Campion. Campion is a very academic school. But I also got an opportunity to flourish in other areas. So I was sports captain and I've never run a race.
Leader.
Yes. So I got an opportunity at Campion to do what I always do, just do all kinds of stuff. So my academics with leadership, participating in all kinds of things. And I thoroughly enjoyed my Campion years as deputy head girl at Campion.
Big, let's go.
But it was funny. I didn't vote for myself. So the prefects and the prefect body voted, and then it went to the teachers, and I actually didn't vote for myself. I was very surprised.
Wow.
2 times in my life, I didn't vote for myself. And it's something that has stuck with me because you do have to bet on yourself. You do have to vote for yourself.
Yeah.
But what happened? Other people believed in me. So sometimes it is that, God just puts other people in place to believe in you.
Yeah, man.
So loved Campion. I applied to get into law and I didn't get into law after my A-levels. I was devastated. Oh my God. So in those times, there was no big faculty of law. There were like 45 students that got into law from Jamaica every year.
Oh, and this is to go to Barbados.
This is for you did the first year in Jamaica. And I didn't get in. But they're still like, some people get in and me don't get in. But that was a big moment of what should have been a defeat. That was one of the defining moments for me because I did 1 year of SOSI. And I had done the sciences and I had done literature and history. And I love literature, I love history, and I love the sciences, and I love math. That was good about Campion, that I was able to do all of these things. Yeah. I could mix the subjects. Yeah. So I didn't get straight into law, and I did 1 year of SOSI, met a lot of lifelong friends, learned about economics and all kinds of subjects that I hadn't done. Bad panda something here. I like it. So I applied for the transfer into law, got the transfer, and I almost didn't go because I was thoroughly loving SOSI.
Wow.
And I was doing very well. I was getting a lot of A's. Some would like it.
No, say right long time.
So I transferred to law, and when I did, I knew that was always my first love, and I had to have that relationship with the law. And so you do a year in Jamaica, 2 years in Barbados. Oh my God, they were good 2 years. It was nice. Yeah. I got Trinidad Carnival, all kind of things. Marcia, sorry. And then I came back to Jamaica for law school. So it's 5 years.
Okay.
And one of the other times I didn't vote for myself was for valedictorian at law school.
Wow.
I didn't vote for myself.
And he still
I was valedictorian. I'm like, again, people believed in me when I didn't. I was busy believing in other people.
Wow.
But
wait, so you didn't vote for yourself, but you also voted for someone else
for other people.
in both scenarios.
Both scenarios.
Wow. And you still got wow.
And I still, but you know what? What is for you cannot be unfair.
Come on, girl.
All when you don't vote for yourself.
Come on, girl.
So
God's plan. Let's go.
So after I left law school, I went into the government sector as a prosecutor.
Really?
So I worked in Trelawney, big up Trelawney people. Yes, as a clerk of courts for 2 years down in the country. It was amazing. Still just 2 years I will never forget.
Wow.
And we didn't make a lot of friends. I mean, to get banana and yam and those things. And I went to all kind of country courts and stuff. But I learned the court system. But also, you got a different appreciation of how the law happens in real life. And it was then that I was like, law is the only subject, is the only area that you can do any subjects to get in. Because it touches and concerns everything. But there is that, what happens in real life, what people's lives are in real life that when you go into the Jamaican court system in a country, you understand that sometimes jurors cannot come because they don't have any bus fare to pay.
Wow.
I went to juvenile court 2 times. The second time the judge was like, do not come back here, because I cried from beginning to end. I mean, it was outrageous from beginning to end. She's like, you need hardened criminals. Yeah, I was so emotional with children having to be taken from their parents, begging to go back home. I couldn't manage. But you're like, this is what life really, and you realize how sheltered you are. And I really had a career in prosecution planned. So I went to DPP's office. I was there for 3 years and thoroughly loving it. And having not done any corporate law classes, because I'm like, corporate lawyers are not real lawyers. I'm like, seriously.
Wow.
They're not like real lawyers.
Yeah.
Court lawyers are real lawyers.
Let's go.
So,
to the thing, yeah.
An opportunity came up.
Yes.
I go to court and when I'm a gown, I'm a baby.
And the white something. Oh my God.
Mirana.
Oh, wow.
I'm making my arguments.
Yes.
And my very good friend Alvita Knight was working at Cable and Wireless at the time, and she told me about an opportunity at Cable and Wireless. I was like, good for it. Cool. And she sent in my CV, and long story short, I got this job.
Wow.
In an organization that I didn't know much about other than take up the phone and use it.
Right.
And I was thrust in when liberalization of telecoms.
Okay.
And I was actually very involved in the court matters, a lot of the regulations at the time.
Wow.
And what that taught me is you can learn and learn and learn and relearn and unlearn and overlearn and learn. And
never
even
stops.
where it never stops, you just have to want to. And it was such an amazing experience being a part, the sleepless nights, the anxiety in it, the rush of it all. And I really enjoyed it. I worked at Cable and Wireless for 15 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And it never felt like 15 years. It felt like a year because it was always changing. Telecoms is so dynamic. I got so much exposure, and when you are willing to take the exposure, you'll get it. And I learned from so many people. I had so many mentors. E.K. Miller of blessed memory. I would sit with him and he would talk me through communication. I would sit with the engineers and they would draw things for me on the boards. I sit with the finance team so I could understand business. I ended up doing an MBA, so I went back full circle.
Wow.
So apparently I do like business a lot. And I got to serve as CEO sometimes when the CEO went off and stuff. And I actually was one of the final 2 candidates for CEO for Jamaica. Yeah.
Wow.
So it was really quite a journey.
That's pretty cool.
It was really quite a journey. And what that part of the journey taught me is that no matter how you think you've planned it out, God already knows what he has in store for you. And he's going to put you in the right places with the right people. You just have to walk through the door. Take the opportunities. And And even when it doesn't feel, you know how they say the God doesn't call the qualified, he qualifies the call.
Amen.
So if he says you, I'm like, you'll figure it out. You'll show me how to do it.
Yes.
Yeah. So I learned so much, and then I segued into probably what is one of my core passion areas, HR, and I went to work at Jamaica Broilers, and I got HR and PR. Law, HR, and PR is the same set of disciplines.
Really?
So you know how we box things, the same set
Right.
of disciplines, that there are rules, there are policies, but they touch and concern people. So at the end of the day, it is always how you communicate, how you're able to get information forward. So I just use, you just need to give me like a piece of the skill, you know.
Yeah.
Just a little piece.
Yeah, man.
Because I'm really not that good at anything, you know. But I'm going to learn it. I'm going to learn it.
Come on.
Yeah, I'm going to get a boss in it, and I'm going to sit with the people who know how to do it well.
This is so good.
And then I went into my own business. Never thought I'd be an entrepreneur because I like pay. I like the 25th. I like payday. I like pensions. I like bonus.
Right.
I like those things.
Yeah,
I like health plans.
Right. Consistency.
And
yeah,
consistency of it. And so I'd help people as they went on that journey.
Wow. But you would stay in the comfort of your,
Oh my gosh.
your 9 to 5. Yes.
It's crazy. Crazy.
Yeah.
But it has really been a journey. It's leadership in a different way, because when you are, the business is your baby, and you are leading and learning to release things to people who are better than you and who can take the dream further than you.
Wow.
That has been quite a journey for me. And you end up working for a lot of people because all of your clients are your boss. You've been inside an organization, so you know what it's like being a consultant, that people need to understand the value that you're bringing. You have to be able to language things in a way that it makes sense. Because like if you ever see it in a way where them not understand either, what's the point? So I always think, would I pay for what you do?
Wow.
Would I pay for
You
it?
ask yourself the
I
question.
ask myself all the time. When we do an output, I ask, would I pay for this? Would I pay for this? Would I have paid for this conversation? Would I have paid for this training? Would I have paid for this retreat?
Yeah.
And even when we're building the product, we always ask ourselves, what's the value in this for the client? What's the value in this for the customer?
So good.
But again, nothing happens overnight. Everything has been a part of the training, a part of the growth over the years. People say this part of it, and them think it did hatch. No, I'm never hatch. A long time at this. Long time.
Been at this.
Been at this.
Come on.
I've been at this.
Wow. That's amazing, Rochelle. I'm learning so much about the journey even now, because I'm doing the math. You were 15 years at Cable and Wireless.
Yes.
What, 3 years at
2 years.
2 years at Jamaica Broilers, and then prior to that, 5 years.
5 years in prosecution.
So we've gone what, 15 plus 5
what
is
you doing
20. And no, I'm just, how many years before you went out to take that jump into your own business?
That would have been almost 18 years.
Wow.
Before.
Wow.
This is interesting because I actually find that the younger generation, my generation, oh my God, and if I must, let me take a sip of mine.
Our generation, yes.
So, I was born in the 70s. Way down in the 70s.
Oh, please. Come on, you look fabulous.
My generation, we are, for many of us, the first generation to go to university. So there would have been a generation that went to high school.
Yeah.
And then another generation, because we're coming from far as a nation, you know.
Yeah.
Then we have another generation, my generation, that our parents invested in us going to university. And we were to get a good job. We were to work hard at it. And we were to grow in that and move and get promoted. But we were to work for other people. And the generations after us were more likely to go to university. So now it is expected.
Yeah.
Till sometimes, the new generation not even want to go. Them so them can learn it by YouTube.
Yes.
So what is the value in that? I get to learn from people like you and Carissa, who just boldly step out into business. And so my generation gets to learn from you guys. And we're like, so after I learn all of them something, me have learning, but you need the guts to take a chance on yourself, to vote for yourself.
Vote for yourself.
So that was my biggest vote for myself. One of the things, though, is that as I am taking the trek to my half century, which I'm very proud of. I'm
Let's
like,
go.
enough people don't make it here.
What you mean, man?
And this is a different phase of my life. And just, I believe in a good education and I believe in a continuous education. I'm only as good as how much I am willing to learn and get better at it.
So good.
And I sit with people who are better than me. I sit with young people because I find young people give me like a whole different perspective on what's possible that I never necessarily got exposure to. And I'm like, but you just born. Oh, yeah, to that. Me freed. Freed,
Yeah.
So I think there's just so much cross-fertilization with the generations. And I sit with people who only got a high school education and were able to build like massive businesses. Massive businesses. And at core is a willingness to learn and unlearn. And also surrounding yourself always with people who push you.
Come on.
Who push you, who are better than you too. And not being afraid to be in the space of people who are better than you.
Yeah, man.
So you're always like having to push a little bit more. So no, we don't get comfortable.
Oh, come on.
So life is like, I always talk about my auntie who have this couch that she don't take off the plastic off of it from America.
Really?
No, because she don't stay here. She's like, don't cock up your foot here.
Really what we say.
Don't lie down on the couch because you're gonna stick onto it.
Wow.
So it's on. So it's being willing to disrupt.
Yes.
Constantly. Yeah.
That's so good, Rush. That is so good. I feel like we could end the pod right here. Jeez, I'm learning so much from you. And I love what you're saying because really and truly, that's what the Sky Lounge is all about. Being a lifelong learner, continuously learning from any and everyone.
Yes.
So I love that. And your journey, man, it's impressive. I hope you write a book one day. I'm honored that we get the exclusive before the book so I can say, yeah, man, we didn't know first. But this is impressive, Rush. This is absolutely impressive. I'm curious because in the midst of the corporate journey from high school, big up Campion like myself, you know the vibe, and climbing that corporate ladder, in the midst of it, I've been hearing about Rochelle Cameron before Rochelle Cameron even knew me. And it's so funny because in the midst of all of that, I was more hearing about you, not so much for your corporate success, but rather you being an entertainer, an MC, a motivational speaker, big adrenaline rush. So I'm curious, how did that happen? When did that happen in the midst of all of this? Like, talk to us.
So, like people think that there was a day that I sat down and thought, I want to do this. So one of my talents is my sense of humor.
Let's go.
That I can, I can build a joke or a story about everything. So a friend of mine was getting married and I remember she's like, she wanted me to MC her wedding. I'm like, me, MC a wedding? And she's like, you're so funny. And I MC'd her wedding and it worked out. And thereafter, sometimes I would see a program and see my name on it, MC.
What?
But you know what? You remember that my core training is in speaking and presentation, but I also have a short attention span. So I always think of how do you entertain people with the most mundane topics?
Wow.
So no matter what I'm presenting, I always kind of think about it that way. And can you imagine that morphed into people like, you always, can you come and talk to this group? And I'd just go and I'd speak at little graduations and stuff. And then it became bigger than, like, people would recognize me. And it's funny because I'm very introverted, and I can be painfully shy.
You?
Yes. Always hard to believe.
Introverted and shy. Whoa.
But remember, at core, I like people to be entertained and that whatever messaging, that you put some effort behind it. So the speaking just emerged itself into people. I'm like, you would pay me? mommy, guess what?
Wow.
And I'm always just building material from everyday things. So it again is I just need a little piece. I need a crumbs, and I am going to multiply it. I am going to watch how other people do it. I'm going to learn my own way. So we think that like talent is some big something like you have and sometimes with business with other people talent. So honestly, I cannot dance and I cannot sing. I cannot follow no TikTok dance. Let me tell you though, if I could, Uno couldn't speak to me.
Oh, gosh,
I wouldn't be here. I'd be in Hollywood.
Oh, that is it.
But you know what? Some people can sing, some people can dance, some people are great chefs. Everybody has their thing. But within that thing, we have these other little things that sometimes we get so focused on the big thing and the career thing that we don't kind of feed the other things. And they're all part and parcel of your whole makeup. So I'm not leaving anything on the table. Nothing. I'm going to eat everything went up on my plate. I'm going to go back to the buffet. I'm going to take some more.
Yes.
I'm going to say, but me can't do that good, you know. But me can learn it. I'm gonna learn it too.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
so after my dash full, she left no crumbs. No crumbs were left. No gravy. She sucked up everything.
Yeah, man. You just need a crack.
I just need a crack. Yeah, and I'm going through.
I love it, Rush. I love it because it's been a pleasure to see you do what you do. And honestly, I've kind of taken that approach to learn, to watch and learn from you. As I said, I believe you are the GOAT. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Greatest of all time, the GOAT, as it relates to all things communication, emceeing, motivational speaking. There's so much I've learned from you over the years, and I just want to say thank you publicly. And I just making it. I'm still gonna call you. For those who don't know, I will MC weddings or host from time to time, and I definitely call Rochelle probably the day before, the week before. I need to get better at my reaching out, but I will get tips from her, and so I have to kind of share the gem that's here today. And so this is really for the budding communicators, budding MCs, budding motivational speakers. Any tips, any advice for those who are, as I said, building that skill set? Maybe we'll have a piece of the crumb and we just want, multiply, as we've been saying. Any tips for people like that? Last
night I was watching Critics' Choice Award. I love award shows and I love to watch people give speeches, and I like to watch them in the audience, and then you see them on screen and you see different versions of them. Sometimes when we are speaking, when we have to communicate, we think we become a different person. And the only thing I do is to be Rochelle. And I'm like, sometimes I can't even tell you guys what's really going on in my head. But there is a beauty in authenticity and understanding that there are different versions of you. And you have different voices. When it doesn't sound like you, though, So I will sound different and behave different in different, because you have to know the audience where I work with. But there is something that runs straight through. It's still Rochelle. There is the lawyer Rochelle. There is a professional Rochelle. There is a comedian Rochelle. When I'm hosting events are different. And I put a lot of effort in understanding what an audience requires. You're not there to entertain yourself. Even if you're giving a presentation at work, my gosh, bring a little life to it for people, them.
Come on.
So people say, people are like, but my voice doesn't sound good. I don't have the best voice, but I use what I have. When I lost my voice over the Christmas, I'm just like, it was I was crazy.
Oh gosh.
No, I love it. I just talk to myself. So me hear my voice. It's like, hi, Rochelle. Yes, how you know? So there's a beauty in loving the sound of you. Your makeup is just exactly what you need. You utilize all the learnings that you have. You're at an event. So people say to me, I'm terrified of public speaking. So am I. When I'm to prepare, I am so nervous and so on. But you remember, you're not doing this for yourself. So if you take yourself out of the equation and you're like, maybe I'm here to impact others with the stuff that I know. And I can do it in my way. So I have a way that I deliver. You have a way that you deliver. But I will watch your way. And I'm like, I like how Timmy pays attention in an interview. And I'm like, do you pay attention like that in an interview? I like the questions that he asks. So you learn from others and you add it. It's almost like you're marinating with your own seasonings, adding your own little something to it. So it's actually, we are being untrue to ourselves when we say we cannot speak. Yes, you can. You speak when you have to. And you speak if you want to. But nobody hears silence. They need to hear your voice. And you see, when they hear your voice, they can have a conversation in silence with you because they know what your voice is saying. Use it, man.
Wow.
Use it.
Wow. Be you.
Be
authentic.
you. My gosh. I'm like the Louis Vuitton of Rochelle.
Let's go. I'm here for it. That's really helpful. Because I think a lot of times we struggle with the fact that I've heard it said that for some communicators, they probably have 7 primary voices that they're listening to. And, in this day and age with Instagram, TikTok, everything, you can find communicators all over the world. And you're looking at this one and you're looking at that one. And Jamaica, I find, being such an Americanized society, oftentimes we're looking at American communicators and we're kind of building our thing off of them. And it don't sound the same.
Exactly.
When he says it versus when I say it. And so again, there's just this redefining, I think, that needs to take place as communicators to own your voice, to be authentically you in every space, in every place, So that's really cool, Rush. I love that. And I think that's priceless advice, because I think oftentimes before we even get to the nitty-gritty details, we miss that first step.
Exactly.
And it throws off everything. It's like starting with salt and you pick up the sugar, and it's just like
but it's funny because I think too that I told you I don't like award shows. I don't think we award ourselves personally enough. Remember I told you I didn't vote for myself twice. And it's been a learning for me because it meant that I didn't believe in myself, and were it not for the persons who have supported me along the way, a lot of opportunities would have missed me. So I'm very deliberate now about acknowledging and stopping to celebrate the times that I've got new gigs to do or a new client that I'm not sure of their business and I've had to learn it. So even we are so much better at saying the things that we're not good at than the things that we're really good at. And there is a gratitude that the things that you're good at, those, when we talk about this authenticity, it's like the things that are you.
Just be you.
But my authentic self 5 years ago is not the person I am today.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, because the brand kind of develop and you get some new colors and new styles into it and stuff. That's what growth is about. So your 16-year-old self and your 40-year-old self are not the same person.
Agreed.
Please.
Agreed.
They're not.
Agreed 100%.
But there's still that 16-year-old person in there.
Yeah, he's still there. Yeah. She's still there. It's still you.
And then you have to, the parts of that person that said that you can't, you have to silence those voices and ignite the voices that said those voices that said the world was yours. Because we get older and we start saying to ourselves, you can't do that again. Everybody will look and say, oh, you're going to leave your work and go do that? That is madness. Are you going to do that? Are you going to? That's a big step back though. Oh my God, you're crazy. Yes, I'm crazy.
Let's go. I love it, Rochelle. Wow. I hope you guys taking notes, because I'm going to go back and listen to this. Oh man, such a blessing. We're getting ready to wrap up, but I'm curious as it relates to your journey, being an MC, corporate life. I'm noticing what I would almost call a pivot, or a reinventing of yourself in a sense. So you went from prosecution to corporate law, from corporate law and being in the structure of a 9-to-5 to business, and now you are a business coach with the name of your company is Prescient, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that, and then I'll follow up with the question. So talk to me about Prescient a little bit.
So the prescient actually means visionary and prophetic.
Let's
And
go.
how the name came about is in reading the 1 week I was just reading and the word prescient came up twice. So I actually looked to see what does prescient mean. And one of my good friends, Avadon, came to visit me. I was at Cable Malice at the time, and she and I had been talking about a name for this consulting company that I was one day going to have.
Let's go.
And she's like, I have the name for you. And we both went prescient.
Whoa.
Isn't that crazy?
That's scary.
I thought, oh my gosh, nobody's gonna know how to spell this. Nobody's gonna know. But when you are delivering a service, like what's a Nike? Really, what is an Adidas? So I'm like, you will know prescient.
Let's go.
So let me put it this way. As long as you are able to have life, that you're able to get up in the morning, it's an opportunity for you to do something. And I am realizing I am a creature of reinvention, even not even consciously reinventing. So I always knew deep down that I was going to have a company.
Wow.
But I was terrified of the uncertainty in business because I had been in a business. I know the uncertainties in business. I'd helped so many people form businesses, coach them while I was working for people. But I knew, when you know in a gizzard, I knew. And a lot happened in 2019. I had my son in 2019, which was my ultimate pivot. There's nothing as humbling as being someone's parents. They break you down to your bare bones.
Wow.
And they're like little people that rule the world.
Oh, God.
And then you're not the parent that you thought you would be. You're like, you're going to be hardcore and thing. But you know what? So I say to my friends all the time that I think something happened with my brain cells that I thought if I could have a child in my mid-40s, I could probably rule the world. I'm like, if not now, when? And when you have an itch where you have to scratch it.
Yeah.
Have to scratch it.
Yeah.
Because I never wanted to live with the regret of saying I could have. When I could just try it.
Yeah.
Because I had not bet on myself twice and it was never going to happen a third time.
Come on.
Yeah. So Prescient was born, and it was born out of work that had been invested years ago.
Wow.
Because most of my clients are people who knew me in corporate.
Come on.
So I say to people that you never know where you will buck up people. So always ask yourself. So even when I talk about this authentic self and stuff, and there are different versions of you, like people, who do you want people to see? And it's like the business that you have in your mind to build, you are building it from years ago.
Wow.
So what do people remember about you? Do they know that you deliver? Do they know that you're kind? Do they know that I can have a conversation with you? I mean, what are you telling them? Because you can't emerge into a business and then them is like, but you don't like people. You don't chat to people, but but no, you want to talk to people. So I was so blessed to have, and everything, when everything starts making sense, different things that happened in your life, exposure that you got, people that you met abstractly, people that you knew from 20 years ago that opened a door, and now you say, okay,
it's all coming together.
It's all coming together. So again, I say that life is a journey, and everybody has their own journey, at their own path along the journey. And sometimes you get to spaces. When I was at Cable and Wireless, the office that I was in was an office I had described 20 years before that. When I was in doing my internship, an amazing secretary at the firm that I was working at the time, she said to me, she just came to me at lunchtime and she's like, describe the office you're going to have one day.
Wow. And
it was exactly the space, but it wasn't enough. And it's okay to want more.
Come on.
You remember, we not leave nothing on the buffet line. You know,
No.
we eat up everything that this life has to offer.
Yeah, man.
No regrets.
Come on.
We can try, we can bet on ourselves. And prescience was when people tell you you have the potential to do something, potential means nothing if you don't actually do it.
It's in the doing.
And I had to do it. And it's been its own journey. It's been sleepless nights. It's been what is me I do? It's been I just get up in the morning and I'm like, me I go look at work today. We need at work today.
Wow.
But you still push a little bit more.
Yeah.
And you learn so much more and you share the dream with others. I have amazing team members, Keisha and Jan. Jan was there with me from the get-go. Like, I big up that dream there. Like, I'll when me don't know what a dream is, you know? And
Big up,
again,
G.
just imagine that you, when, that, you know, a lot of the unhappiness we have is some things that we know we should be doing, but it's going to be uncomfortable. And discomfort is scary and it's sometimes painful. And you also have to be prepared to fulfill your dreams that some people won't believe it, but you have to.
Come on.
And it's been a lot of prayer. It's been a lot of faith walking. This year is a year that the word that has come to me is intimacy with Christ. I know the Lord have some new things to tell me.
Let's go.
Some new things to do.
Here for it.
But then sometimes, like, you ever see some things happen, you get some work where you know, say, I know you.
Just have to say,
And
thank
you
you,
say, Lord, if I use someone for do this, you know,
Yep.
you are going to provide the brace.
Yep.
You are going to send the people them.
Definitely.
You are going to download the idea them. And sometimes you're just like, you know, who called us? And you're like, oh, I don't know about us.
Big, we're big.
So, but it is, if nothing else, I mean, so I feel like I gave birth to a business and a child at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, can you imagine?
Wow.
Yeah. And you know, for sure, and you have to, whatever your spiritual grounding is, you have to have something that you know is higher than you, and understand that when the things happen, I know it's not you. Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. So much to unpack, boy Rush. I could be here for hours with you. I'm motivated, I'm encouraged, I'm inspired already. And I hope you, the Sky Lounge fam, also are encouraged, are motivated. Bet on yourself. That's really the word for today, guys. Bet on yourself. Continue to be lifelong learners. Rochelle Cameron, thank you so much for joining us for episode 5 of the Sky Lounge podcast.
Go Sky Lounge!
Let's go. Come on, man. I'm pumped. Thank you. Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. God. You ready, Ramon? Bet on yourself, bro.